What's going on, guys? Julien here, back with another video. Today we're doing the classic GUU or GLUE with Lucas Sacco. Go check him out in the description down below.
Along with that, Julie and I have a masterclass on K9 Vanquisher. If you guys want to learn how to play K9 Vanquisher in this new format, or even in the old format, side deck patterns, everything you need to know, check that in the description box down below. It's really about just how he won worlds and how you can improve at the game. Besides that, let's go ahead and look at this list.
Let's look at it. Did you like how it looked frozen? I got you guys. Everyone in the comments right now is like, he's frozen, he's frozen. Oh no. Anyways, so Mitsurugi, pure Mitsurugi. I think just to start things off, well-positioned deck into the format, right? Everyone and their mom right now is like, oh my god, yummy. You already know Triff is spreading that propaganda. Everyone's like, oh, Pen God is saying Yummy is the best. So everyone thinks Yummy is the best right now. But guys, how well can a deck be positioned? And every deck that's good destroys that deck. Guys, come on. But anyways, so we got pure Mitsurugi right here. I'm not gonna we're not gonna deck doctor the list or anything. We're just gonna look at the major things that the deck is able to play and see how good those things are in the format as well. So here we can see the deck can play a lot of board breakers that synergizes really well with it. For example, Book of Eclipse, right? You don't care about eclipsing your own board because then you can just tribute them still. We can play Impulse, which is a really strong card. We can play the Pots because we don't really care about our extra deck too much, which is also good. Although it's a little weaker into Droll, it's still very strong. Like game ones, especially you don't expect people to have Droll in their main deck. What else? Magatama is a good card. That's an in-engine card. Just an overall pretty decent non-engines. We're playing what 3, 6, 9, 13, 10, 11, 14 non-engines plus 3 pots. So we'd have spots for 17 non-engine if we really wanted to. That's really strong. Really good into the format. Just overall, just hammering your opponents with non-engine cards.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this deck is super consistent. I mean, we're able to play multiple pot cards in our deck. We have several 1-card combos. I mean, the amount of non-engine this deck plays is very sufficient, as well as it can play the best non-engine card of the format, probably. Impulse is such a ridiculous card. If your deck can play it, you just immediately get knocked up on the tier list because your deck is enabled by Impulse. One thing that's very cool about this deck is that it has a good matchup into Lunalight sometimes, just because you can play Wosu. Now, I'm not saying every list for Mitsurugi should play Wosu, but in this list specifically we are. And that just gives you a straight 1-for-1 out of the Liger into the Lunalight matchup, which is super cool. So you have a good matchup there, but you also have a good matchup into Yummy. Being able to just straight up board wipe them, basically activating a side deck card in engine, you're activating Raigeki against them, is super insane. It just gives you such an advantage going into it. The other thing is that Yummy's hand starts to deplete pretty quickly as they start to 1-for-1 hand trap you, and so you're gonna get to a point where your Murakumo is just a solid, consistent negate versus whatever they have.
Yeah, plus the fact that that we're able to play 3 ritual spells and it's pretty consistent, right? Because we have 2 Aramasa, we have 3 pre-preps, we have so many ways to make that ritual spell be our first or second action, and then just be okay, you better negate this, and if you do, I might have another one. If your opponent has Herald on the field, guys, and you have ritual spell plus ritual monster, but it's not Murakumo, bro, I'm saying summon from hand. My opponent's always negating it. Come on, guys. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You don't want to wait for the Murakumo to hit the board. What if I have prayers? Come on, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, that's why 3 ritual spells is broken. Plus, again, we're playing those eclipses, those imperms to stop the herald, impulse, cut them off of herald. So broken. Plus, like you said, into the Lunalight, we have Wusu, and we also have Reptile Ling 3 guy. That guy, Gorgon.
Gorgon.
And this isn't out because it can gain attack, so you make it with IP, right? And then sometimes your opponent will be like, "Oh, IP in a body, what the? I ain't out in this," because they don't know. But then you summon the guy. Now they know, but it's too late.
Yeah, exactly. One cool thing that this has going for it as well is that it can play some crazy floodgates in the deck. Gozen Match and Rivalry are good against their own respective decks going into next format. And so the fact that your deck can very, very easily play them because you don't play anything that collides with that is insane. One option for the side deck as well for this deck, as you guys can see, he's playing Gallant Granite here as part of his engine. Instead of just searching Nib, you can also play Fossil Dyna. Being able to normal Fossil Dyna into a lot of decks is just absolutely FTK. There's just nothing they can do. If your Yummy opponent looks at their hand and they don't have exactly Cookie, there's no engine way to remove it. So that is something that's very, very good to be aware of, is that you can just side into just a ridiculous floodgate versus them.
Yeah, I think that card's pretty good. I do think in a format that seems to approach like a lot of board breakers. I don't know how strong that is, but I think that this deck being able just a Gallant Granite overall, right? Being able to pair its like really good mid range board with like a nib or a crazy floodgate, like that makes it really strong.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that the fossil thing is prone to hand traps. However, you do have an Omnigate as part of your engine, so it's probably not the worst thing to look at option wise. But then again, just playing Nib, having Nib plus a Omnigate trap is probably going to be good enough, especially when your deck already sets up like 5 disruptions on its own. One cool thing here to look at is Magatama. This card will see a lot more play. In some of the pure lists before, they didn't even play Magatama in it. It was about 50-50 on which decks played Magatama and which decks didn't. But I think we'll see this card be a lot more prevalent in the format just because board breakers are so good into like every deck right now. They just have like very good value into just about everything.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Just you hard drawing this card is not even bad. Like trigger a monster effect and pop a card, or
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I think we could see going into this deck a little bit more is just generic hand traps. This list is leaning a little bit more towards the breaker side of things, but since this deck's engine already like breaks boards really, really well, I think that hand traps pair a little bit better with this deck's engine, being able to put them on half boards that don't have the things like don't have a surprise, then you can just like summon a Murakumo and wipe the field with Ash Blossom if that's in your deck. Or even things like Droll to like make their board a lot smaller than what it could be, and then being able to bring in Murakumo and just like even out the game state. I think that's something that we could see in this deck's main deck going forward. What do you think about this deck post Dude? Do you think that much changes here?
I think the only thing is that it might just not play the pots. Like maybe keep the prosperity. Take out two pots, replace that with whatever approach we're going for, like hand traps or board breakers. Just because I think that everyone and their mom is gonna play Droll in the side deck at the very least. And post side, like you got pots in your main deck, you're like, are you siding them out, bro? Like, no, you're not siding out your pots. Like they're too broken. But if you have cards that are in there already instead of the pots, then your deck becomes more flexible and doesn't lose to draw as hard.
Yeah, that's totally fair. That's pretty much it for everything. Julian, do you want to give us a GUU or glue?
I'm gonna say this deck is, I think, the goo for this format. I think that first, if we just look back at like 2 formats ago, right? Like the Ryzeal Malice format, pure Mitsu was like the third best deck. Like that deck was like creeping up, but it was being kept out by like the Ryzeal version just being like having much higher ceiling, as well as Malice being really strong. We're now entering like now 3 decks got added. The 2 decks I just talked about got knocked down like all the way down, like the unplayable, unplayable, right? 3 decks got added. One of them, Vanquishal, got hit really hard. Okay, not very consistent. High ceiling, but not very consistent. The other deck, Yummy has a terrible matchup into this, and Dracotel. Dracotel is weird. Dracotel can be really strong, but can also like grind game against like a discarded card every turn, like makes it really hard, right? So I think that this deck overall is really really well positioned into the format, and therefore is the goo. I'm gonna give it. Actually, I'll wait for you, goo or glue, Sako, and then I'll give it my rating.
I'm gonna give it a GUU. It's definitely like a very strong deck in the next format. I think the impulse is kind of like the deciding factor on what pushes this deck up into the next year of being like a top 3, top 4 best deck of the format. One thing that I think we should talk about for a second before we actually give our number rating is the Ryzeal cards. I mean, we could even see a point where instead of playing this extra, we play Ryzeal cards just like as a sub engine. I know we don't have King of the Fair Lumps anymore. Do you think there's still a reason to play those cards in this deck, or do you think that they're just fully dead now?
I think if I was gonna play a sub engine in this, I'd rather be like Fiendsmith, because even though Moon got banned, you can still make like Exciton, which is really good. And therefore, if you ever like actually get drolled, if you hard open like a 4, you can always get to Exciton, Moon, sorry, not Moon, Exciton, Requiem, Lacrima, Engraver, and into a Caesar, right? Right, which is really strong.
Yeah.
Like season to the format's pretty nutty. So
Yeah, no, that's fair. For some reason, that card was not hit on the ban list for like the 30th season in a row. Anyways, yeah, I'd give this a definite goo. This being like a top 3, top 4 best deck into next format. Julian, what's your number? What are you gonna give this?
I'm gonna give it 8.3. 8.3. Yeah, I'm feeling good about 8.3.
8.3.
What about you?
Um, Honestly, I think it's a great deck. Do I think it's better than the Draco Tail? Probably not. I think the Draco Tail has a little bit more things going for it, especially with its like built-in hand trap ability, like being able to hand trap your opponent turn 0 with your engine. Do I think it's better than Yummy? Probably just because of the matchup. But Yummy has so many other things going for it that I think I have to put this a little bit lower than where I value those decks right now. I'm going to say 8.1 for Mitsurugi, which is still very high. You have to remember, like, 10 is like full power tier limit. Julien doesn't know what a tier limit card is because he just started playing the game last week.
No, I
But
know they do they shuffle the thing backs and make the fusion guys.
anyways, yeah, I'd give it an 8.1, Julien. Any final thoughts?
Okay. No, yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good for it.
Awesome.
I'm with it.
Sounds good. Well, hey, I appreciate you watching the video. This is on Julian's channel, but if you want to watch me, check me out in the description.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to check out the masterclass if you want to become the Vanquisho Pro like me. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.